Hi, good morning. This is Joanna Nelson, and I am calling in today from Albuquerque, and we're so happy that you are able to join us today. We're really excited about the webinar we're going to present to you. And this is our Rural Efficient Business Program, and we are joined by our really great partners, USDA, MNERD, which stands for Energy, Minerals, and Natural Resources Department, and New Mexico State Engineering. So we're really excited about working with them and excited about the information we're going to present to you today. So before we get started, I do want to let you know that this session is being recorded. So this will be uploaded on our YouTube playlist, which that's the New Mexico Economic Development Department playlist. And that'll go out to all the registrants, and we'll send out the presentation as well. So I want to get that covered. And before we get started, I do want to give you, here's an outline of what we're going to cover today, brief introduction, give you an understanding of the program background. MNERD will talk about energy efficiencies, then I'm going to talk about financial efficiencies, why it makes sense to look at energy conservation and how do you pay for renewable energy systems. NMSU Engineering is going to talk about their program. And then we'll hear from USDA about how do you pay for some of these renewable energy systems, and then what resources are available. So to give you some background about the Rural Efficient Business Program, we entered into a partnership with USDA about 2 years ago, and participated in their Rural Energy Assistance Program, otherwise known as REAP. And we got matching funds from them as well as from the department to engage with communities, rural communities, and rural businesses as well as agricultural producers to begin conversations about energy consumption. So to look at ways that businesses could reduce their energy consumption and look at and consider renewable energy systems. And so look at, do these make sense for businesses to implement? And if so, how do you pay for those? We did a series of workshops, 6 locations over the last 2 years, all around the state, primarily in rural areas, where we worked with MNERD, Energy, Minerals, Natural Resources Department, their engineer, David, who we'll hear from in a little bit, but he presented information about the technical aspect of that, of how do you actually look at conserving energy within your business, and hosted these workshops all over the state, got great participation, great feedback from businesses, made some really good connections. Because not only were the businesses hearing directly how to conserve energy and look at renewable energy systems, but they were able to connect with the resource providers in their community. So looking at, connecting directly with USDA, connecting directly to their economic development organizations, the state, and other business resource providers in that area. So had really great feedback. We wanted to bring our workshop online, and so that's why we're here today and doing this webinar, to see what type of reach we could have through this channel, because as you know, business owners are very limited in their time capacity. They don't have a lot of time to be able to go travel and sit through a workshop. So that's why we're broadcasting through the webinar today. So hopefully we'll be able to spread this workshop to whomever wants it after today. So I want to introduce David Griego. He is with the Energy Conservation and Management Division through MNERD, and he has been fantastic throughout our program and been there at the workshops and been able to give the technical expertise and knowledge. So I want to introduce him, and we'll get going on our webinar. I do want to briefly say before we get started that please ask questions. You have a drop-down questions box on the right hand of your screen. So type questions as you go. We'll be taking questions throughout the webinar. So please, this is your chance to talk to the experts. So we'll take those as we go. So David, take it away.
All right, thank you, Joanna. As she said, my name is David Griego. I'm with the Energy Conservation and Management Division. Let's see if I can get control of the screen. There we go. I'm a New Mexico native. I graduated New Mexico Tech in December of 2010. Started my career at Los Alamos National Labs. Worked 2 different positions there that had nothing to do with energy efficiency. And then got picked up to lead a Department of Energy grant program between GSD and MNERD. The program was concentration on energy efficiency. We were able to invest $2.5 million in a couple of facilities in New Mexico with the goal of reducing the energy consumption by 20%, using that reduction to pay off the work that was done. And what we found is we reached our goal. We hit 21%, which led to a 12.8-year payback. So that means that $2.5 million and will have paid itself off in 12.8 years. Once that program was over, I was picked up by the Energy Conservation and Management Division. A major portion of our work is what's called energy savings performance contracting. So we go into facilities, we do work, we finance that work, and then pay for it with the utility savings. And so far, we've done over $100 million in work that has been of no cost to the taxpayer. The first step in performance contracting is an energy audit, which is basically going to be a document that's going to tell you everything you need to know about your facility, from your baseline energy usage to projects to implement to reduce your energy costs. The second step is financing that work. We go into installation once a finance package is developed. And then once everything is installed, we stick around for the life of that contract and continually do measurement and verification, typically on a yearly basis, to make sure that what is implemented is still saving money. And the great thing about ESPCs, or energy saving performance contracting, is if an entity enters into a contract and does not hit their savings mark, the contractor that did the work is on the hook for that savings money, so it's guaranteed money. They will never have a shortfall in their savings. Wow, this slide is a little bit off, but overall, what is energy efficiency? It's a moving target. What we had 20 years ago that was efficient is not efficient anymore. Technology is moving at such a fast pace where we're continually catching up, and we can continually do better. Federally, it's defined as an energy usage per square foot. Now, this graph will show you the data that is collected on a decade by decade basis. So 2003 and 2012 are the comparable years. But as you can see, overall energy usage is going down. We're finding more and more ways to be energy efficient. We're putting better light bulbs in, we're putting better HVAC systems in. And I think the general public is noticing these types of things more and more on trying to reduce energy usage, trying to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. It's becoming more a common practice in the United States. So as I said, the first step is an energy audit. These contractors will get your utility data, and you can do this preemptively with a program called Portfolio Manager that I'll walk you through here in a little bit. It's a DOE program. It's free to use. and it allows you to collect your bills, see kind of what your usage really is, and give you an idea of how much you could reduce what you're using. If you do enter into a contract with an energy service company or the people that do these work, um, they'll ask for blueprints, square footage, utility providers. They need to know everything about your facilities. They are developing these investment grade audits that are going to be sent to a bank to be financed. So the engineering behind it is in depth. It's not something that you're just going to run through in a week. Typically, these take 12 to 24 months to collect all the data, to put the audit together, and get it through our office for certification. They'll work with you on anything you need to do. They'll work during your hours. They're there to service you. I mean, they're very accommodating when it comes to those types of things. And then at the end, you get this report that shows exactly what you need to do, the steps you need to take, the costs, the paybacks, and help you get a better grasp on what you need to do. Like I said, Portfolio Manager is a free program. We use it around the state for tracking bills in different facilities. It's easy to sign up for. You can create a new account, give you a username and password like everything else. Once you're signed up and you have all your facilities inside of it, you can see all your buildings if you have more than one, and will allow you to track those properties individually or as a group, so you can know you have warehouses A, B, and C that are doing well and D that's not. And it gives you a clearer understanding of what your energy usage is and how it's progressed through the years, depending on how much data you can enter into it. If you get into a singular building, you can see from when you entered in, which will be your baseline, to your current energy usage. You can modify any changes or increases or decreases, hopefully, in power consumption, or what they're going to call EUI, which is energy usage intensity. It's a measurement of energy usage per square foot. So it standardizes it no matter how large your facilities are. And then you can get neat little spit outs that'll show you kind of how you're doing since you began entering data in and implementing projects and those types of things. You can see this facility is doing well. It's had projects implemented in late 2016, early 2017, and dropped its overall energy usage pretty significantly. So what are some basic tips? You want to set clear energy goals. That's where knowing your baseline, knowing what your current energy usage is so important. You want to be realistic about it. You can get to net zero if you really want to, if you have the money or the financing to do so. But is that a true clear goal for you? If it's 10%, make it 10%. If it's 50%, just know what your goal is. If you have employees, get them invested in it. Help them understand that if we're paying out less in utilities, which is a cost we're going to have every single month, then we can throw that money back into the business and move forwards. Conducting an energy audit always helps. I mean, to have a professional engineer come in and tell you this is what your usage are, these are steps you can take. There's nothing more useful than having a manual on how to do things. And like I said, enter your bills into Portfolio Manager. Seeing what you use this year versus what you used last year or the year before, and being able to track that helps you not only track your energy usage, but you can spot if you have something that's going wrong. If you have a water leak, you're going to see it on there. If you have wasted energy coming out somewhere, it can be an early flag for you. Data analytics technology may be a little outside the scope, but if you really are invested in it and you have a large enough square footage that it could be utilized, it's something you may want to look into. The easiest and most efficient way to reduce your energy usage is light. It's what we call low-hanging fruit. LED bulbs are getting more efficient, they're getting cheaper, which is a big thing, and it's becoming easier and easier to switch out to LEDs all throughout your facilities. If you can, use natural light. Turning off the light is the best way to not use that energy. It's not always possible, but if it is, there's no reason not to use it. Turning off lights, like I said, I mean, if you're not utilizing that light fixture, it's not using any energy, that's going to lower your utility bill every single month. And an easy way to do that is using occupancy sensors in low flow areas. If it's a conference room, something along those lines, have an occupancy sensor in there that'll, when people are in there, lights are on, and 15 minutes after they leave, it'll turn them off. It doesn't allow someone to not leave that room and not turn the lights off. Energy efficient exit signs. If you wander around New Mexico, you will see exit signs that range from brand new to 50 years old. And those older systems are constantly lit and constantly using energy. So if you can reduce that energy usage, there's no reason not to. Your HVAC is a little more in depth. Tuning up your HVAC system isn't something you can necessarily do by yourself. You're going to have to bring someone in. But even a basic tune-up, there's programs from the Mexico Gas Company, from P&M, that will come in and evaluate these systems for you. There's incentives to do it, not only reducing your utility bill, but they may give some kind of a grant to allow you to do this, or to give you a credit on your next bill. Something you can do is change your HVAC filters. We all have HVAC filters in our house, and they're supposed to be changed out quarterly, and most of us don't do that. A smart thermostat is something that is becoming more and more prevalent with technology, and you can allow yourself to set up your house to be colder when you're not there and warm back up before you get there, and you'll never even notice the difference. But it's the prior investment in that thermostat. If you can, use fans instead of your HVAC system. If you live in an area like I'm up in Santa Fe right now, it's 40 degrees outside right now, but typically it's easy to use a fan and not be needing to run your AC. And also another issue Santa Fe has is the facilities are really old, and you'll see leaks in windows and doors and those types of things. And that's a really easy fix. And if you're holding your heat or cool in, that's less you're having to pump into it, less you're having to pay to get it in there. And then plug loads. We have everything plugged in. Everything is electronic. And if it's not in use, it shouldn't be plugged in, or it should at least be in a power strip that you can turn off. If it's something that stays plugged in, make sure it's Energy Star qualified. If it's guaranteed to use less energy, you're better off going with something that's going to give you the same performance but use less energy on that side of it. Power management features and software is a little more in depth, but again, if you have the square footage that it needs, then you can understand making up that cost and find ways that it's going to reduce your energy usage such that it pays itself off. Demand response program, again, is for larger facilities, but P&M has programs where they can reduce your demand at any peak time to a point where you don't notice it, but it's saving you on your bills. And then at the very end, your very, very last step should be solar power. If you're going to just put solar power on and still be using the same amount of energy, yes, you're going to be saving money, but did you really do any good? It's better to reduce your overall usage, and then you can size a solar system that's much smaller than you would have needed had you not done any work. So this is real results from a lighting project at a local dealership here in Santa Fe. They did all their interior lights and all their exterior lights. After 1 year, this is the savings that they were seeing. And this is something that they run every day. They're open 7 days a week. So they're seeing on average about 30% savings with the new lights. And these lights will pay themselves off in about 9 years. They use high-end fixtures, and we can get that cost down. Oh, unfortunately, I'm missing a slide, but the modern fixtures that we have nowadays, if you catch them on special at Lowe's, Home Depot, something like that, you can see payback in LEDs in under 1 year. Larger fixtures, 2x4 lay-ins, fixtures that are high bay fixtures are going to be more expensive, where you're going to be seeing paybacks in the 5 to 10 year range. But these fixtures are also lasting 15 to 20 years. So after the payback is there, you're seeing nothing but savings. The investment in your facilities is overall going to bring you more money in the long run. Now, there's programs offered through USDA that we will be discussing later, where they have funding available. If you can come to the table with a little bit and they can match a little bit, it makes these projects a lot easier to run. That is the end of my presentation. Are there any questions? Okay. Nothing, Joanna?
Can you hear me, David?
Just barely.
Good. I was trying to use some headphones, but they didn't work. So if no one has any questions, feel free to go ahead and type those in the right hand of the screen. And if not, we'll go ahead and get going and answer any questions that come up as we go on. So thanks, David.
Thank you.
Go ahead and move forward. Here's David's contact, and they're based out of Santa Fe and run some great services. All right, so as I mentioned, my name's Joanna Nelson, and I am with the Finance Development Team with the New Mexico Economic Development Department. And I want to talk to you today about looking at financially why it makes sense to consider decreasing energy consumption and figuring out ways how to pay for renewable energy systems. And why that is important to us is because being with the Economic Development Department, we are concerned about growing the economy, creating jobs, and improving the lives of New Mexico residents. So financially, that's very important for us. When businesses save money, they have more money to put into other areas like hiring people or engaging in more advertising to increase sales. So on the finance development team, this is all very relevant and all very pertinent to us. We work in a variety of different areas within finance. So not only are we focused on assisting businesses financially and looking at how do we develop programs to help businesses, we also look at how can we support communities financially. And that involves looking at how do we figure out ways to pay for infrastructure or economic development projects. We are available to work with communities and businesses all over the state, anytime. Our services are free. We can look at financial packaging if businesses are interested in looking at loans, interpret financial statements. We can do analysis for companies as well as communities, and provide just blanket general financial resource assistance. We do a lot of matchmaking and connecting. So that means our main priority is to get you the connections and the resources that you need. And being at the state level, we have a lot of partners. We work with a lot of different people, so we know who the best fit is for you and your community or for your business. We manage a few programs that are financial in nature, and that is I'll mention a few, but one of them is the Local Economic Development Act. This is a closing fund that businesses can use when they are needing to purchase land, building, or infrastructure. So this is a small grant that usually hits the mark of about 10% of a project. That varies. This is the state putting money into a project that will get paid back by job creation and benefit to the economy. And some of those funds can be used for infrastructure. So that could be solar panels or some type of renewable energy system, or retrofitting a building. So that's a really exciting tool. Contact us, obviously, if you have questions. We also have New Mexico Fund It. This is a program that gets into the community space. So local governments that are looking at infrastructure and economic development projects, this is a matchmaking program that if you have a project, we will get you direct feedback from those agencies that have financing and funding available, and we'll figure out how best to collaborate and leverage all the different funding sources that are out there at one time. So a community can come and present, hey, I want to do this solar development project in my region, but how am I going to pay for this? So we could work directly with USDA, Department of Environment, the State Land Office, EPA, EDA, all of the fund acronyms, and find the money, build the capital stack in order to get that project funded. We have been for the last several years been working in that local government space. However, very exciting, we're going to be branching out into the commercial realm this summer. So that program will be available to businesses as well. So our first event is in Taos this summer. So look for that. We also have credit enhancement program. This is a collateral support program. If a business is trying to get a loan, we can come in and support that loan with a CD to make up that collateral shortfall. So energy efficiency upgrades, solar panels. If you're going to get a loan, we can help you support and strengthen that loan deal so the bank is more apt to do the deal. As well as opportunity zones, we are managing that federal program on the state level. This is a really exciting program that brings investment dollars into low-income areas to put that money, invest that money into projects. So ideally, those could be green type of projects. Not to go down a rabbit hole, but those are our projects. They're good to know. They're good to keep in your back pocket because these are all part of the tools that can be used when we're talking about energy efficiency and supporting businesses in your journey of how can you be the best that you can be. So thinking about how do you tie in energy savings to money savings? This is obvious. I have owned numerous small businesses in the last decade. I'm a current small business owner. I've owned small businesses in rural areas, and I understand the importance of saving a couple of $100s. That money is very important. This is money that you can find hiding in your utility bill. It seems like it's this common sense knowledge that you're going to turn off the light when you exit a room, but for some reason businesses don't do this. It's not, maybe it's too easy, but it's something to think about, that when you are turning off that light, when you are decreasing your energy consumption and finding ways to better operate, that's direct dollars that are going to your bottom line. And as David mentioned, these are really easy. This is like the low-hanging fruit of ways that you can do these simple things, get weatherization on your windows, or look at different machinery that is more efficient, that is going to make a difference and make an impact very simply. This is not, going off and installing some intricate geothermal heating system. These are ways that it can turn into actual dollars. So it does make sense to look at energy consumption. And the benefit is that, yes, you're going to save money. Yes, you're going to benefit your business, but it has an environmental impact as well, a positive environmental impact that benefits your community, our state, the world. So there's a greater repercussion that happens after that. So whether you're a penny pincher and a stingy business owner, or you're someone that cares about the environment, it doesn't matter. It matters of focusing on how you can be more efficient and how you can be more productive. So the first thing that David mentioned, he talked about the Energy Star manager, the portfolio manager, is you have to assess what's going on. We use the analogy of that you're getting on the scale. So it's you might be trying to lose weight, and you know that you need to do it, but it's that, the act of getting on the scale, and you got to record your weight and look at the calories that you're bringing in, and it's just not fun to do. It's a pain. And as any good business owner knows, is you have to keep good records. You have to be looking at those utility consumption trends. You have to have your books in order. You can't manage what you're not tracking. And so that's really important, especially we see that in the rural areas, is maybe bookkeeping and accounting isn't a restaurant owner's best skill. And first and foremost, those have to be in order. You have to know where your money is going in order to be able to look at ways to conserve and be more efficient. So track costs, look for anomalies, look for abnormalities. We're looking at trends. If this isn't a strength, it makes sense to invest in a bookkeeper. Go to your local small business development center. Contact us if you don't know where to go. But there are people out there that are willing to help you get your books on QuickBooks, look at accounting systems of how to track these trends. Use the system, the free system that David mentioned, and be on top of your data first and foremost. Really quickly, I hope everyone knows this already, but there are financial ratios that are out there that are going to give you a really good idea of where your money is going. That's first and foremost what's important as a business owner to know of. I might be making $1 million in sales, but what if $999,000 is going for my cost of goods or my operation? You have to be able to track those and be able to figure out how you're performing. So really quickly going over these, hopefully everybody knows these already. Gross profit, this is really showing you your direct costs, your gross profit margin, gross profit over revenue, quick ratio, your current assets and current liabilities. This is letting you know how leveraged are you, how much debt can you take on compared to your assets. So we would look at your current assets to see if you could afford looking at solar panel purchase or some type of an infrastructure upgrade. And then your debt to worth. This is also looking at how much liabilities do you have against your equity that you have in the business. We're not going to go into depth on these, but as long as you know these and you have them in your back pocket and you know that there are ways to assess financially, get a picture of where you're at, that's the most important thing. Reach out to a bookkeeper, to an accountant, to us, to your small business development center, to SCORE, and they can help walk you through these ratios. So one other way to look at financially kind of how you're performing, and are you performing efficiently is a method called the cost accounting method. And this has its background in manufacturing, because as you know, with manufacturing, there's a very clear process. There's a very clear system that is occurring. There's inputs, and then you get the output. That's a little bit more gray in service industry. So if you're a computer business, or you're you're a mental health practitioner or something, it's not as clear your direct inputs that you are generating compared to your sales. So what this does is it assigns it picks all your key activities, all your inputs, and then it assigns a cost to it. And then you're able to break down for each product that you're producing, how much does it cost to get this amount of sale. And that's really important when we're looking at efficiency. So it's looking at, it's just breaking it down. So I'll show you, here are the cost accounting steps. So identify the key activities to production. Then you're directly going to trace or estimate costs directly linked to activity, assign cost to activity, and calculate the activity cost per unit. So what this means is it's just a way to say that when you look at your utility bill, you might say, okay, I'm spending $100 on electricity, I'm spending $100 on water, and $50 on gas. You don't have a way to see and break down how much of that electricity and utility was spent to generate my sales, if that makes sense. And so here's an example of how to break down your inputs per unit to really get an understanding of how that energy usage is being assigned to each unit. So if we're going to say, okay, our unit costs $100, our material, we just spend $100 per month, but if we produce 10 units, that's $10 per unit. Then we have our labor, 2.5 hours at $10 per hour. That's going to give us $25 per unit. Electricity, here's my bill. I get $100 per month that I spend, but I'm only producing 10 units. So if I divide that 10 into 100, that gives me $10 of electricity that I'm actually using per unit. Add up all of those assigned costs. That gives me roughly an idea of I'm spending about $45 in direct energy usage per unit. So I have a really good understanding of how much does it cost for me to produce something. Really, really used in manufacturing systems, as I mentioned, but it's applicable to any type of industry. So if you are concerned about energy consumption, this is a fantastic way to relook at your numbers, not just paying your bill every month of, here's money to the electricity company, utility company, and you're not really understanding of if your process is efficient, because we could have done this differently and seen, hey, when I do this service, I'm spending $110 in electricity. It's not efficient. So really good way to just get a different perspective and a different insight into your energy usage. So as mentioned, you don't have to be a bookkeeper or an accountant expert to utilize this. There are resources out there. So connect with us, connect with the people out there that can help you. So when you have achieved becoming efficient, looking at your lowest hanging fruit, as the tips that David gave you and the tips that are common sense and out there, the other step of energy efficiency is looking at, does it make sense to look at renewable energy systems? So there's solar, there's wind, there's geothermal, and some more elaborate systems out there. And you have to weigh financially, does the cost of installing and purchasing these systems, does it make sense? Am I going to reap the benefit? Is it going to be paying for itself, a return on investment? Does it make sense? So there's some great tools out there. If you just Google find a solar panel calculator or renewable energy calculator, and you can put in your square footage of your building, what your utility is currently, and it'll give you an estimate of how much a renewable energy system will cost and how long it'll take to pay off. So really, really fantastic free calculators that are out there that right now it is interesting because some of the solar panels systems are a bit high to pay for. So you don't just want to generally say, oh, I want solar panels without doing this analysis beforehand. And luckily, there are programs out there that can help offset the cost and pay for these systems. And here are a few that I am bringing up. So USDA, which Carlos is going to get into, has some fantastic products through their Rural Energy Assistance Program, part loan, part grant. We've worked with a number of these projects throughout the state to get businesses solar panels. SBA has some great loan products. These operate as guarantees, and I'm going through these quickly because hopefully you know about them. If you have any questions, let's get them answered today, or we can talk in more detail. But really great guarantees. So they're guaranteeing the loan, so the bank has limited risk, and they're more likely to do the deal. Microfinancing is out there. Axion, West, Loan Fund. These are statewide CDFIs, Certified Development Financing Institutes, that can make you small deals. So these are under $50,000, and they're very comfortable operating in that space. I didn't put it on here, but there's another company called RCAC. It's a nonprofit out of California. They operate here, and they specifically have an energy efficiency, renewable energy systems program. Providers are a great resource. They offer direct financing. Sometimes that makes sense. The energy companies have great ways of offering rebates or ways that you can pay for those systems. And then LEDA, the Local Economic Development Act, that closing fund. There are a number of qualifications to access that money, but if you fit, it's an interesting tool and way to use to pay for these renewable energy systems. So there's a couple of green energy incentives that exist on the federal level as well as the state that I'm hopeful with our new administration we're going to get a little bit more support in the green energy space and have a little bit more support for businesses that are interested in energy efficiencies. So the big one is that federal tax incentive. This is an investment tax credit that offers 30% back in tax credits if you purchase a solar system or a renewable energy system. We have a couple of lesser known tax credits that are out there, but if you are looking at sustainable building, there's a tax credit available. If you are doing geothermal heating, there's a tax credit available too. Manufacturing, if you're a manufacturer, you actually can get a GRT tax deduction on your consumables. So that utility bill, you can actually get a deduction on your taxes for that. So that's good. And then PACE, this is Property Assessed Clean Energy Programs. I'm thrilled. I'm a finance development specialist, so this really excites me. We haven't really dove into this space, but hopefully we're going to work with MNERD in the next coming year to make this more accessible to businesses and communities. But this is a way that you can issue a bond to actually pay for the retrofitting, the energy efficiency upgrades, or renewable energy systems. So that's available. We have that in our state legislation. So if that sounds interesting to you, give us a call because we'd love to work with you on that. But want you to know that there are incentives out there. There is support on the state and federal level to help. So hopefully you got an overview of why it's important to look at energy consumption, because it does make sense financially. That's common sense. There's plenty of support out there to do the upgrades, do the efficiency assessments, to look at renewable energy systems. The state and federal level, contact us. We will work with you for free to find you money for these programs and projects. So going through it really quickly, but hopefully you got the gist of it. And I want to introduce Chris Campbell. He is with the NMSU engineering department, and we've really enjoyed partnering with them through this program on their energy assessment program that he's going to talk about, and Jalal is joining him as well. So Chris and Jalal, go ahead and take it over.
Thank you, Joanna, and on behalf of NMSU, we welcome everyone to the webinar today. It's been useful in the past. We've generated interest in our business assistance program as a result, and we're certainly looking forward to even more increased opportunities because of this. NMSU, as probably everyone on the call realizes, is down in Las Cruces, New Mexico. However, I'm located in Albuquerque. We do a statewide outreach program. It's a lot easier to do from here. We have access to northern New Mexico businesses and companies as well. Our program is located within the New Mexico State College of Engineering. We have both staff and students available to help out with our programs. I'm going to move to the next slide. Joanna, for some reason, it's not responding to my directional arrow, but
I can see you're moving the mouse, so.
No, I'm off the mouse. I'm just doing the directional arrow. But
you want to try to? Oh, okay. Just try it.
So if you can move it for me,
Okay,
I'll
go ahead and do that.
That would be great. Thank you. Great. Our approach to business assistance includes the concept of pollution prevention, which is a way that companies, businesses, manufacturers can actually eliminate the pollution at the source rather than create it out the back. We are looking for approaches that investigate and recommend ways that companies can reduce their waste streams, their hazardous waste on site and such on site. We'll go into that on the next slide as well. The E3 reference on that slide is to an EPA program known as Economy, Energy, and the Environment. That is that we feel that all three are tied together, that there are resource savings and cost savings involved in both reduction of energy use and reduction of environmental pollution that can add to a stronger economy here in New Mexico. So we'll be talking about the details of that as well. Yeah, let's go to the next slide, Joanna. Thank you. Pollution prevention is also simply known as P2. It's an approach that reduces or eliminates the source of waste at the source. In your company, if you have hazardous materials or paints or solvents or chemicals that are potential pollution sources, we help do assessments and look at ways that we can help you either remove those or store them in a more proper fashion so that the potential for contamination is reduced. We also look at ways to reduce your normal waste streams, cardboard, paper, plastics, metals, and such. And in some cases, actually recycle and make money off of those recyclables as well. So our approach can be for any kind of business in New Mexico. We're funded through EPA, which allows us to go into any kinds of business in New Mexico, from car repair shops to small mom and pop grocery stores to larger manufacturing centers. We have a lot of success in the healthcare field. If any of the attendees today are involved with healthcare facilities, we have a lot of success with them, as well as the hospitality sector with restaurants, cafes, resorts, casinos. ski areas and such. We've had quite a bit of success, and we'll continue to. Again, our funding allows us to go into any kinds of businesses in New Mexico. So if anyone is interested, we'll have our contact information at the end of this. The next one, Joanna, please. There are several sectors that, of course, are important in New Mexico. One of the largest business sectors in New Mexico, of course, is agriculture. And we get involved, especially in southern New Mexico, in helping farmers and landowners and agricultural producers reduce their water use, reduce their chemical use and pesticides. Through New Mexico State University, we have access to all kinds of information about the proper types of insecticides and pesticides and how best to apply them and stuff and such. The industrial sector, of course, is very important. Statewide, we provide assessments, as Jalal will describe, that allow us to identify all types of waste streams, ways to reduce or eliminate toxic chemicals, and to increase both water and energy conservation. We have had some success with schools as well and other publicly owned buildings, establishing good, thorough recycling programs within those schools, looking at the plumbing fixtures, at all of the toilets and faucets and kitchens and such, to really help reduce water use as we go forward. A lot of those facilities, of course, use solvents and cleaners, and we try to help the facilities identify less toxic and more environmentally friendly cleaners and solvents. Let's go to the next slide and realize that pollution prevention is not only an important environmental step, it's a very, very important financial step. Businesses can save a lot of money by reducing their waste streams and the associated costs. Many of you business owners may be paying quite a bit of money to have your waste hauled away, or in the case of hazardous materials, having a hazardous waste management company come and provide you with a big fat bill at the end of your of their hauling those materials away. What we try to do is help you look at ways to reduce those costs, specifically for waste streams, for water conservation, and for energy use as well. All right, the next slide, Jalal is going to take over. I'd like to introduce you to Jalal Rostigary, who is our on the engineering staff down at New Mexico State. Jalal?
Yes, good morning, everybody. My name is Jalal Rostigary, and thank you for being here. As Chris said, we are doing this pollution prevention, energy efficiency, and E3. We have been doing this for a long time. There is no cost for businesses. We can go to any businesses. We have done businesses that are 500 people employed, or we've gone to businesses that actually there were a couple of employees. So we can do any size of businesses, and what we are doing, if we are doing pollution prevention, energy efficiency, it's going to take about 2 days. What we are doing, we just go in and introduce the program. We have a presentation which is going to take about an hour and explain in detail about what needs to be done. After we do the presentation, we walk through, we go and see the whole operation, depending on the size of the business, if it's a manufacturing or if it's a small business that is only a restaurant or something. We can do P2 for the small business, but usually we do E3, which is we are doing with our partners, and I'm going to get to that later. So we make sure that, it's pretty clear what needs to be done. We look at the things that are positive, and after we did the walkthrough, we can come up with the presentation again at the second day and present it to the management and come up with a recommendation what needs to be done. Actually, the presentation is pretty comprehensive. Let's see if I can change the slide. If not, Joanna, can you please change it? Looks like I can't do it either. So E3 is usually, as I mentioned, is done with our partners that are either MEP, if we are doing it in New Mexico. We also work on the border region in El Paso. We also do E3 with TMAC, our partners, and this is a program that is being supported by the federal government. There are 6 agencies that are involved, including USDA and SBA. So well-known program. It focuses on environment, energy, and also at the bottom line, it's going to be helping the businesses to save money. And we also call it lean and green, because if you are a manufacturer, we do the MEP does the lean part and we do the green part. It's a partnership that has been working real well for last at least 5 years. And through this program, we have done many businesses, no matter the size of business, all of them, they have been able to save some money. We have looked at some of the businesses that they had their electric bill of $500,000 a month, like about $6-7 million a year. And we have done small businesses that they had like about $200 or even less energy bills. All of them, they were able to save money. So please make sure to use our services. It's free. And I'm sure we can help you to save money and be green and be sustainable. A lot of new companies, are looking to be green because that's the trend. People are looking for the hotels that are green. They are actually looking, and it's a really PR to do this kind of work, and we can provide you with a detailed report that can be taken to the other funding agencies like USDA, and there are some other agencies that they provide funding if you need to improve your energy efficiencies, or there are some other things that you need to do. If you can go to the next slide, please. So the report is very comprehensive. Our partners provide some part of the report, and we provide the other part of the report. We put the report together, and we are providing training to the management, to the workers, and they can be efficient. Always helps if businesses are doing the things the same way that they've always been doing. So if there are some different sets of eyes that look at their operation, there are always opportunities for improvement, and that can help your business to be more green and save money as well. So feel free to contact us, and if you go to the next, please, Joanna. This is my contact information. Also, Chris is available in Albuquerque. I'm here in Las Cruces. We can go all over the state. There is no cost. Feel free to contact us, and we'll be happy to come and look at your business and see what we can do. If there are some questions, I'll be happy to answer it. I didn't cover a lot of things because David went in detail for how it's done and what are the steps that you can take yourself to do the audit, but we come there and we do the detailed audit, and we can be really helpful to the businesses. So please let me know if you have questions.
Thank you so much, Jalal and Chris. That was great.
Of course.
We're so excited to have been partnering with you guys on this program, and really excited to continue partnering. I didn't mention it, but even though our grant period is ending with USDA this summer, we're still going to continue the program and look at ways to improve it, bring on more partners. You guys are working with EPA and MEP. We've talked to MEP, so really excited to continue working with you all because you're offering such a great resource to businesses for free. They can get this energy assessment. So contact us. We can put you into communication with NMSU. This is just a great program that we're all working on to help rural businesses and businesses in the state become more efficient. So speaking of USDA, I think Carlos Contreras is on the call now. He's joining us, and he's going to talk a little bit about USDA's funding programs for energy efficiency and renewable energy systems. So Carlos, are you there?
Yes, I am, Joanna. Thank you very much for having me
Okay.
today. I appreciate that. A little late getting in here, but I appreciate that.
Yeah, and do you want to try to advance the slides, or you can just tell me?
Yeah, let me try it here. So,
Okay.
USDA Rural Development, USDA has a lot of other agencies under its umbrella, but Rural Development has been said that we can build communities from the ground up, and we certainly have many programs that are under our program. Today, I'll be specific in just the energy programs that I help coordinate. And we're going to try the slide changing here, hopefully. Let's take a look here. So the report to the president, we have to just provide information with the outreach that we're doing within our agency. It goes to Senator Perdue, our secretary, and they provide a report to the president for all of our efforts that are being done in rural USA. We have a little tree here of connectivity, economic development, innovation, technology, our workforce, and quality of life. We try to incorporate all of these items into a rural area, rural setting, so that the rural areas can benefit, kind of like what large suburban areas are doing. And so we try to hit on each one of these particular items, and to have that rural prosperity in New Mexico as well. The Rural Business Cooperative Service under this program for energy programs, we provide loans and grants for the agricultural producers and rural small businesses. Typically, for the rural small businesses, you have to be in an area that's going to be 50,000 in population or less. However, the agricultural producers do not have to fit that requirement. They will have to have at least 50% of their gross income coming in from ag production or operations. We have an eligibility map that we use that we can determine the size of your business. We utilize the SBA as well as determining the size of the business, and that helps us with our scoring as we go through our process. So the Rural Energy for America program, also known as REAP, has a couple of things into this. Two of the items that we just finished up are the renewable energy, which is mostly solar projects that we do for rural commercial businesses. And the second part of that is going to be the energy efficiency grants that are available under this program, again, to rural small businesses. We also do, like Johanna mentioned earlier, we provided the state with a grant to assist in some of the workshops that she's doing. So we really appreciate Johanna and her team and NMSU for all that they do in providing some of these energy efficiency audits, and that allows those businesses to come to USDA or small business or SBA or other programs to try to find financing for their needs. Let's take a look here. So under the energy efficiency improvements, oops, I think it went too quick here. Let me go back one. Okay, so under the energy efficiency improvements, this allows you to install energy efficiency lighting. So you're going to change out your halogen lamps or fluorescents to LED lighting. You maybe need to upgrade your refrigeration systems. If you're like a grocery store or a convenience store, you want to switch out your refrigeration systems, this would be something that could apply. You need to install new insulation for your business, so that's roofing or walls, new HVAC systems. These are all allowed under the program. This again will reduce your your heating and cooling costs with the new HVAC upgrade. Under the renewable energy systems, REF, this allows you to install the solar panels or wind turbines if you select to do that with your commercial business. They can be roof mounted, they can be standalone structures. Typically, what we see here is if your project is going to be more than $200,000 for a solar project, it will require a feasibility study to be conducted. Determine the viability of that. We don't see a whole lot of the geothermal. We've done a couple here. Hydropower, we haven't really seen a lot, but it would be nice to be able to incorporate some of those. And then also biomass is always up and coming, and so we are trying to find ways that we can help with funding some of those programs. Now I'm going to go back a little bit here. So let's go back to the energy efficiency side if we could. Let's see here. Under the energy efficiency program grant portion, you can apply for a project that would has a maximum of $250,000 in grant and a minimum amount of $1,500. It does require your own funds to be integrated into the project. So the way we look at this is that when we receive your application, we are going to look and see that you have the means to pay for the project upfront. This particular REBP grant is a reimbursement only, so therefore the project has to be completed. In the energy efficiency side, we do have to see that all the invoices and contractors, everyone has been paid, and we can then reimburse you after that. So it is a 25% grant that is available. The deadline for this typically is October 31st for projects that are 80,000 or less. And then April 1st is our other deadline that we generally have that are going to be for projects over 80,000. We go back to the RES, renewable energy. This one allows for a minimum grant amount of $2,500 with a maximum grant amount of $500,000. Again, it is a 25% grant with 75% coming from your own means. Again, this has a deadline of October 31st for projects under 80,000 and April 1st for projects over 80,000. We can incorporate both a guarantee loan and a grant if the project is large and you need to look for additional financing. So we can do both the guarantee loan and the grant, but the combined amount available would be 75%. So therefore, you would still need 25% of your own funds to come into the project, with a guarantee loan amount of up to $5 million in some cases, and we can guarantee the loan up to 85% for the project. There's a lot here to to go over, but I'm not sure if my contact information came up, but let me look here. You can certainly give me a call or email me. Let's see if it came up here. I don't see it. So you can reach me at 505-761-4958, or you can send me an email to carlos.contreras@usda.gov.
Okay, thank you, Carlos, and we will make sure and send out your contacts when we send out the PowerPoint and the live recording.
Sure, great,
Thanks
thank
so
you.
much. And as Carlos mentioned, he is the guy to talk to if you are interested in a grant and or a loan to finance the renewable energy systems or energy efficiency upgrades. So that feel free to reach out to them. So wanted to really quickly go over some resources. Hopefully you already know these, but wanted to touch on the people in your area that can help you with these energy efficiency projects or renewable energy systems projects. We have New Mexico Economic Development Department reps in each region of the state. We have 6 different regions. So if you don't know your regional rep, we have a map on our website, which is gonm.biz, and you can connect with your regional rep. These are our boots on the ground. So they are the front lines to our department. They know their region, your region, better than anyone does, they know the players, they know the government officials, and they know how to connect you to resources. So reach out to them. USDA, obviously, the SBDCs, these are small business development centers. They are located all over the state. They can help you with business development needs, financing, marketing, anything and everything that a business needs. They're there for free. Arrowhead is a fantastic resource. They're located out of NMSU in Las Cruces. They've got some great incubator services, focusing primarily on agriculture businesses. However, they're branching out and interested in helping all innovative type businesses. NMSBA, this is the New Mexico Small Business Assistance Program, not to be confused with Small Business Administration. This is a jewel of a program in our state through the labs, through Sandia and Los Alamos. This program can help businesses that are dealing with efficiency questions or workflow questions, engineering questions, anything kind of in that realm, especially as we're talking today, looking at energy efficiencies or looking at customizing energy systems. You can be paired up with a scientist and engineer from the lab and receive their time and their input as they work on your problem and solve your problem for free. So that's an ongoing theme in today's webinar, is that word free. Not to devalue the services by any means, not cheap. It's just it's being paid for by other funding, but a fantastic opportunity to look at these issues of energy efficiency. So West is another small business assistance provider. Much like SBDC, they actually have financing that's available, but they're located throughout the state. You can work with a business advisor. They can hook you up with a financing opportunity. Then Chris and Jalal mentioned MEP, the Manufacturing Extension Partnership. Fantastic, great again, resource that can look at efficiency issues and workflow for manufacturers. Main Street, this is a great organization that's housed out of our department. And if your community is lucky enough to have a Main Street organization, they are great at connecting resources and big time problem solvers in rural areas. New Mexico has the agricultural department that can offer assistance to ag producers, and then NMSU, who is on the phone with us and partners with us on this program. So the point from today that I hope you take away is that there are resources out there that can help you address questions about energy efficiency upgrades, and looking at how to finance renewable energy systems, solar panels, wind systems. Money is out there, programs are out there, resources are out there. Please connect with us, and we will get you the help that you need. So here's our contact for New Mexico Economic Development Department's finance team. We have 2 other people on the finance team, Juan Torres, Joel Salas. Here's David's contact again with MNerd. And these are the links to our finance team and then MNerd's website. So really quickly, I'm going to look at I know we're kind of close, but let me pull out the questions. And if you have any questions, let's go ahead and get to those. So let me read these off to you really quickly. And I do want to have to say to Chris and Jalal, I love that EPA saying that energy, environment, and economy. I wish we had thought of that. That's a great one, the E3 concept. But really think that it encompasses everything that we're talking about in our collaboration.
Right.
Let's see. So some people have asked about sending specific contacts for their zone. So we will definitely get you that information. And we had a general question that if someone wants to take a stab at this, can you talk about how changing future technology is better than investment now in terms of payback timelines? Does anyone want to take a stab at that? Anyone on the phone?
I mean, the idle and not taking any action now and the wait for investment, in all likelihood, your payoff will hit sooner if you invest now than if you waited 4 years for better technology, because as technology comes out, it's expensive, and then you're waiting for that price to go down. So the technology that's available right now is excellent. There's no question about it. The LED lights are high efficiency. They're most of the time very high quality. HVAC, same thing. I would say invest now if you're able to invest now. If it becomes part of a 5-year plan, then so be it, as long as it's a goal.
Good point. Okay. Well, want to encourage you again to reach out. These are the experts. These are the connections and resources that are available to help you if you're a business resource provider. It's good to know about these tools and these connections, and know that help is available to help you become more efficient, help businesses and agricultural producers become more efficient. So, and strengthening the economy and help the environment become more sustainable as well as the economy too. So I want to extend a huge amount of gratitude to Chris, Jalal, David, and Carlos. Thank you so much for being great partners on this program. Thanks for your time. And thank you all who are tuning in right now and who are listening maybe on the YouTube channel. And we will get this presentation sent out to you today. And take advantage of these programs that are out there. Contact us or NMSU if you want to do an energy assessment. That's really the key to the next step in your process of becoming efficient. So call us up. So thank you so much, and we will see you all soon.
And thanks to you, Joanna. Tremendous help.
Thank you, Joanna.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, guys. All right, bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Bye.